Hello Joe Heads, welcome to another video. Today we're gonna be reacting to 10 things about Portugal. This video was brought to my attention by the YouTube algorithm. So me and my sister, who are Portuguese, are gonna react. This is my sister.
Hey, I'm Sancha.
Yeah, that's it. And we're basically gonna debunk some facts, gonna see some facts. No, we'll see if they are facts indeed or not. And we'll basically just analyze the video. So let's go!
Hola, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and we're in Lisbon, Portugal, my old stomping grounds. I lived here for 5 years. I love Portugal, but even a place I love like Portugal, I know there's things that'll shock a tourist when they come here. So what we have for you today are the 10 things that are going to shock you when you come to visit Portugal. Now, the first thing that's going to shock you is when you go out to eat, and you're going to have to pay for the bread and butter. Yes, the bread on the table, the butter on the table, the olives, these things you do pay for here. And they actually are in the menu now, you'll see that. But the thing is, if you're coming from the US or other places that, oh, chips and salsa is free, bread is free. Here it's not the case. And I know people that have actually spent more money on the bread, the cheese, and the ham that they've been given. They spent more money on that than they did on their actual meal, okay? So be careful with that one. So you might be shocked. Yes, you do have to pay for the bread and butter in most places. Not everywhere, but just pay attention. Now, if you don't eat it, you don't have to pay. You don't want it, you say no thank you. They'll take it away, no problem. All right, so, but that'll be the first thing that shocks you. The second thing that may shock you is also to do with the restaurants. Is the fact that a lot of the places will close the kitchen.
Just something to ease your mind. Nobody's gonna take your child and start feeding them randomly. That doesn't happen here. Like, your child just walks over and they, come here, we're gonna give you some food.
Seriously, you know, my 22 years, I've never seen that, and I've never been fed by a lady.
That's way too creepy, and it never happens. And the bread thing. Yes, the bread is on the table, and if you eat it, you have to pay for it. But yeah, it's correct.
Not that expensive.
But it's very cheap. Yeah, it's very cheap. That's the one thing I didn't agree. It's that he said that it sometimes can be more expensive than the main course, and it's never. It's very cheap usually. But yeah, if you don't want it, just like he said, don't eat it. Carrying on.
The kid.
Hola!
Kitchens between 3 and 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So if you're a tourist and you're used to eating at 5 o'clock in the afternoon for dinner, realize you're going to have to go to more tourist areas to get dinner, okay? So there's places here in Lisbon that do open throughout the day, and the kitchen is all the time. But a traditional tashka, like a family-run restaurant, they'll serve food from about 11 to about 3, and then they'll serve food again from 7 till 11 or 12. Now the thing is, the restaurants won't necessarily close during the day or during that off time. What they'll do is they'll have what are called salgados.
So, usually here in Portugal, everything happens late. So yeah, we have lunch like, this not like a weekday, but like on the weekends we have lunch like at 3 p.m, dinner at like 10 p.m. So it happens later. So the kitchens, they do close up later, but they open up later as well. So if you want to get dinner at 5, there are a lot of places that you can go, but on this more...
I think the restaurants here are very flexible. If you want to get lunch at 5, you may want to go to a Tasca, a Portuguese restaurant, and they can serve you at any time.
Yeah, they do accommodate tourists and even Portuguese, yeah, for sure. Okay, let's continue.
What's happening here?
Another guy hugging a child. What's going on with this video? Okay, continue.
Like little savory treats, maybe croquettes of meat, or you get a tostamista, a toasted ham and cheese sandwich. But if you want, bacalhau brás or bacalhau com natas or porco preto, the really awesome dishes here, it's hard to get in the late afternoon hours. So that's going to shock you. But just know, if you want the real Tasca Portuguese experience,
he's trying to speak Portuguese though.
You might have to wait for it, okay? The third thing that might shock you when you come here, and this is actually the first thing that shocked me the first time I came to Portugal, Portuguese bullfighting. Now, if you go to Spain, you see the ole stuff, and you see the
Oh.
swords
Not
and
a
things
fan.
like that.
Not a fan.
Portuguese bullfighting, they don't kill the
Cheers.
bull
Yeah,
in
no,
the
I'm not a
stadium.
fan
And the
too.
thing is, it's more horse riding in the
But-
beginning. They ride the horses around to tire out the bull. And then there's a bunch of guys in these
I'm
kind of
not
funny
sure this
outfits
one I
and green
can't
hats. They kind of look
actually
like
speak to.
Portuguese
Yeah,
elves.
because it's
They
a
go out there
tradition
and they
here
literally
in Portugal, but
and
not
they catch
everyone
the bull.
agrees with
I'm
it
not kidding.
because
The bull
Yeah.
charges them.
the bulls
They
are
catch the
hurt
bull. It is
and-
completely insane. When you see it the
But
first time,
it's
it will shock you.
a really
You're here in the
ancient
summer
tradition here
or
in
the fall,
Portugal.
you might see it on TV, and you're just like, what the heck? Yes, Portuguese bullfighting, where they actually catch the bull.
Yeah, it is strange for
It'll
people who
shock
never
you.
saw it.
The fourth thing that might shock you when
Yeah,
you come to
but
Portugal,
actually the
especially if you
Spanish
come from the
bullfights
US, is
are
the Portuguese
more
love
violent.
to smoke.
yeah.
They
They actually
smoke a lot
kill
here.
the bull?
And you'll see people outside and in
end.
the cafes and outside banks and
Portuguese love
outside
to smoke.
offices smoking.
Oh, that's very general.
There's no stigma on smoking here in
But-
Portugal.
Okay, Portuguese love to smoke. This is
No.
not a Portuguese thing. What
in
the
that
hell?
picture that appeared like a man with the skulls behind. What was that?
It didn't even seem Portuguese. So, Portuguese love to smoke. This is not a factual thing. This is just every country that has a lot of outside life. You see people smoking outside. You know, it's just
Yeah.
a normal thing. It's not really a Portuguese thing to smoke a lot. And in past years, I think it's been decreasing the number of people who smoke. So, I think that's more of a general thing.
The world loves to smoke.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
guess.
And in here it's like, it's not the cheapest, but it's cheaper than most European countries, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people, when they come from the US, like, oh my God, everyone here is smoking. Not everyone, but yes, smoking is quite common
Okay.
here, and that does shock some tourists that yes, you can't smoke next
I
to
love the
people.
pigs.
And the thing is, they do have a law, you can't
The
smoke
kids
inside
again.
unless
Stop
you have
with the
designated
kids.
smoking
Super kid
areas.
friendly.
So if you're flying in and out of Lisbon,
Too
they
much
actually have like a
kid-friendly,
small, like
by the
cordoned
way.
off area that's just for smokers, okay? The fifth thing that might shock you when you
Yeah,
come
this
here as
is
a tourist is
typical
trying to find good
pictures of
lower price and
vacations.
middle
Yeah,
price hotels. There's definitely a lack of those in Portugal.
Lack of minutes.
So if you're looking for hotels,
Yeah,
you're not going to get
sure.
much great
Hotels,
stuff,
yeah,
lower
we
end,
have
middle end
hotels.
prices. So what I recommend
Oh,
is
yeah.
Portugal actually has some of the best hostels. I know hostels.
Yeah,
Mark,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
40 years old, 30 years old. I don't go to
Hostels, that's what
hostels.
I
Yeah.
said.
They have family rooms there. They have stuff like that. But honestly, Hostel World is ranked a lot
Yeah,
of the
but the
Portuguese
hotels are
hostels, especially here in
expensive.
Lisbon, some of the
I
best
agree
in the
with this
world.
one.
And also, Portugal is
Another
really
great
good
photo.
with vacation rentals. Getting an apartment. We're staying here in an apartment this time, and it's great. We
yeah.
got bedrooms, we got laundry, we got all kinds of stuff. So you're going to go that way.
We have a lot of
But trying to
options.
find a cheap hotel or a
Yeah.
middle price hotel that's good
Have a
is kind
ginger.
of tough. So stick to hostels or rent an apartment or go high price, okay? But
lot
it is
of
kind of
English
shocking where, you know, you
pictures.
can go from Germany or,
Understand it.
or Austria and you find like good middle price stuff and you don't have so much of that here. Now, the sixth thing that might shock you about Portugal
Sure.
is
Yeah.
I
their
agree with this
concept
one,
of
actually.
time. Going out to lunch, yes, that's going to be 2 hours. Going out to dinner, yes, it could be a 5-hour
Yeah.
affair. We
Yeah,
went to go have
that's
lunch
going
with our
back again
friends
to
in
the other
Sintra
one,
the
the
other
lunch
day.
one.
We ended up at their house for 11 hours. Time in Portugal is quite relative, okay?
Yeah, this is
so when
very-
someone tells
this
you,
is
hey,
very
let's have
Portuguese,
dinner
yeah,
at
yeah.
7, what they probably mean is 8 or later, okay? So don't be surprised.
Yeah.
So if you meet
Because,
Portuguese
yeah,
people,
can you
and they're
put a
really
pause
nice
here?
and they speak
Sure.
English really well, and they invite you to
Because I think that people in Portugal don't refer to lunch as just a necessity of eating, but as
An experience, more
an experience. Yeah.
Like time to talk with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
And then the typical food in Portuguese is really heavy, so you may not want to work right after you have a big meal, a heavy meal.
Yeah, so you have your big meal, you have the dessert, that's for your other stomach, your
Yeah.
separated stomach,
Yeah.
and then you have to,
A nutritionist speaking.
yeah, and you have to do drink, digest, sing, maybe for a little bit. I don't know, there's a whole lot of activities after eating. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's actually in Lisbon, maybe several of businesses happen in lunches, businesses meetings. It's really important to get to know the customer or the client. I
Yeah,
think.
and the personal contact here in Portugal is very important, and it happens a lot. Not the best thing during COVID season, but yeah. Carrying on. It's a big
do
video.
something and they say, oh, let's meet at 8. You just say, hi, I'm from a country where 8 o'clock means 7:55. When should I be there? Okay, so just do those things. It'll make your life a lot easier. But the concept of time here does get some of the tourists upset because they're always getting a coffee or having a cigarette or things like that. Now, the 7th thing that may shock you about Portugal, and may give you white knuckles, is the driving. Oh my goodness, it's like every Portuguese person has a little rally driver inside them, and it's going, shoo, 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 shoo. It doesn't matter where you are in the country, it's like little rally drivers everywhere. If you take taxis, which you will, because they're nice and affordable here, you will feel that, oh my God, I'm going to die feeling. And the thing is, yes, they do drive kind of crazy here, and they drive very fast. But one of the weird things is I found that if I'm in the crosswalk, they actually do stop for me. But if I'm walking on the sidewalk and I get a little too close to the edge, woo, hey, it gets a little close there. So be careful. One, if you're driving or if you've got little kids, you keep them next to you all the time.
Yeah, but this is not India.
The driving here is nuts, like white knuckle driving, scared out for your life.
You didn't mention, I think, the most important thing, and it's the honking. Like the car honking here, especially in Lisbon and a big city like Porto or something like that, it's non-stop, it's constant. So it's not so much of the rally driving, which happens when it comes to taxi drivers, but it's more of the constant honking by nothing. Just little triggers and people just wanna, I'm late to this, I'm late to that, and it's like all the time.
Yeah, it's supposed to honk just when you're in case of an emergency, but people honk because they're annoyed with something or with their own lives. One friend of mine told me that the honking should be inside of the cars also, so that people wouldn't honk that much.
Because they would be so annoyed,
Yeah.
Carrying on.
Taxis sometimes, yes, that can happen, so just know that, all right? Now, the 8th thing that might shock you is when you come here to Lisbon, you're going to get somebody that offers to sell you sunglasses, and then you'll say, no, I don't need sunglasses, and then they'll say, oh, hashish, cocaina? You want like marijuana or cocaine instead? You're like, whoa, that escalated quickly. Look, these people, they're trying to sell you drugs. They're not selling you real drugs anyway. And Portugal has decriminalized most drugs.
I don't know,
so the cops don't really do anything about it. It's just one of those little annoyances. But just know, if you're a tourist, and that's the key. Locals say, I don't see this very often.
Tourists.
It's the tourists that get asked. Stand outside the Rosio station where you go to Sintra. There's a Starbucks there.
Like
There's people selling drugs all the time.
They do it.
We're there with some friends of ours. Their son is 15.
Starbucks.
Guy came up, would you like some drugs? We're like, no, thank you. I'm going to go take a train to Sintra instead. Oh, okay. These
like
kind
the
of
trim,
things.
bro.
So they do ask you hashish, marijuana, cocaina. Just say, no thanks, because they're not selling you real drugs anyway. It's all fake anyway.
Yeah, but this is not.
But it does kind of shock people.
And it's what he's saying.
My
it's
mom,
not real
who's,
drugs. It's just
a little bit older than me.
mixed with
if she
another
wanted drugs,
stuff.
she's like, no, thank you.
Don't ever buy this.
That might shock you when you're here in Lisbon. That's more of a Lisbon-centric thing. Now, the 9th thing that might shock you when you come here is how affordable Portugal is. This is a cheap vacation. To stay, to eat, to travel. It is extremely affordable.
The cost of
okay,
living
so when you
is
come
very
here,
cheap
your money goes a lot farther. You know, you get one of the small beers here, it's €1. Okay, that same small beer in Sweden is like $8.
And coffee maybe 40 cents.
All right, so you do have a much better time here. Your money goes a lot farther, and you see a lot of tourists have started to see that. So you get tons and tons of tourists coming to Portugal now for these great prices. So I tell people, you know, they're looking for a warm, easy place to go. I say, look, Portugal's great. A lot of the people speak English. They're very friendly. They got great food, and it's affordable. So it's a great combination. And there's direct flights all over Europe and to the U.S. from here. So Philly, Newark, places like that. It really makes it a great place to go. So you'll be shocked how affordable it is. You're like, wow, I can get all this stuff. Did they miss something up?
Agreed.
No,
Agreed,
they
my
didn't.
guy.
They got it right. Okay, so that kind of shocks people how affordable it is here. And then the 10th thing that might shock you when you're here is you'll see the cobblestones here in Portugal. These little tiny squares put together, you know, and they have designs and stuff like that, and it's beautiful. But the thing is, they can be slick as snot. So if you're here and you see the water coming on me, this is from the fountain. This stuff can get very slick. And if you're wearing high heels and stuff like that, it can be very dangerous. So just be careful.
Begins to this is very true when it rains. And me and my sister like to wear All-Stars, you know, Converse. So when it rains and I'm wearing my All-Stars, This happened to me so many times, just slipped and
yeah.
bottom on the floor
Falling
so
down.
many times. I accept it. And once you accept it, it's okay if it happens, you know? It's fine. So yeah, but they have very cool designs. Once you start going into the more like popular touristy Lisbon parts, you see the very cool designs.
This is called Calçada Portuguesa.
Yeah. That's
very
search for it, Google it.
With the slippery pavement, because I've seen many a tourist go whoops and fall on their butt on the slippery pavement. Now it doesn't always rain here in Portugal, so it's not a big issue, but just pay attention because it can get very slick, and if there's dog poop there, you know, it'll obviously be slick too. So that'll do it for you. Anyway, those are 10 things that I think that might shock you about visiting Portugal. What are some things that shocked you about visiting Portugal? Please put in the comments section below so we can have some more shocks. If you like videos like this, why don't you subscribe to our YouTube channel? Go down there and click the subscribe button.
I will.
10 things that'll shock you about Italy. 10 things that'll shock you about
Thank you for
the US.
coming.
5 things you're loving about here in Lisbon. All on our website at waltersworld.com and here on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, things that would shock people about Portugal. Like, you can get very cheap and very high quality wine here, you know? Like, you can go just to some store and for €2 you get like very high quality wine.
Yeah.
And whilst I was living in Dubai, I could never, I mean, you would buy like €15 wine or €20 wine that wasn't nearly as good as the €2 wine here.
Yeah, it's really good. And something that also can shock you is sometimes the friendliness of people. Maybe people get a little bit confused with that kind of friendliness because it's not usual to be hugged on the first meeting, or if someone, for example, if someone asks for me for directions, I'm always glad to go with them to the nearest place that I can go with. So
sure. I think we are very strong in terms of hospitality. Just don't go to the south and expect the same hospitality as you get in the center or in the north, something like that, because it starts volume down. So yeah, but basically I think those are some things that would not shock people, but would surprise people when they came here. And obviously we have very beautiful sceneries and, like he said, affordable food. So yeah, just come here when all this COVID thing is over. We're always welcoming tourists. We need it as well as a country, because if we don't get tourists, our economy is gonna blow up. So come, please come. It looks like a call for help. Please come.
Oh, come on.
But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. You can always unsubscribe if you don't enjoy my content, and leave a like button for the algorithm.
And share your opinion with us. If you ever visited Portugal, we would like to know your opinions.
Yeah, or leave anything you like in the comment section. Even if it's criticism, I'm always open to anything.
And if you want me to appear anytime, you can say that too.
Just comment that you enjoyed the video. Yeah. See you guys!
See you!